Ladies, be fucking careful. An Uber driver that drove me to work about 3 weeks ago came to my job tonight. He asked the host for me by name and they told this man I was upstairs and let him straight to me. I don't know this man, but he remembered where I work. I have a similar Uber story of when I went to go get my vaccine at a Safeway that was really far from my house. This Safeway at the time was the only place that had vaccines available and I really wanted to get it over with, but it was really far, like it was on the edge of town. I let the Uber driver know that because we were just making small talk and he offered to wait for me till I was done getting my vaccine because he said there were barely any Ubers that were in that area. I thought it made sense and I agreed, and he didn't give me any red flags because he was giving me like grandpa vibes because he was a really old man. He asked for my number and told me to let him know when I was done and he would just bring the car around. I gave him my number, I got the vaccine, and the lady that gave me the vaccine was like, oh, just wait here 15 minutes in case there's any severe reactions or symptoms with your vaccines. As I'm waiting, there was like a knock on the door and it was my Uber driver and he was like, hey, you haven't texted. I wanted to see if everything was okay. I don't know, up until this point I just thought he was being very like nice and like grandfatherly, so I didn't really think it was that creepy. It wasn't until I got this chill down my back on the way back to my house because my eyes started to get like really heavy and I started to get really sleepy, which I assume was a symptom from the vaccine. And he was like, oh, you can take a nap, and like I don't know why that creeped me out, and I was like, no, I'm staying up. I got home safely and then I thought that was the end of it. And a couple days later he texted me. He was like, good morning, how's the vaccine? I didn't recognize the number, so I was like, who's this? And he's like, remember the Uber driver, the one that drove you to get your vaccine? And I was like, oh, it's good, thanks for checking up, how nice of you. I just left it at that, but then he started to text me periodically, like day after day. He was like, good morning, how are you, hi sunshine, and I never responded. And 2 weeks later, thank God I wasn't home, I went back to my parents' house and they live in a different city and I was staying at their place over the weekend. This time I get a call from the Uber driver and he's like, hey, I'm downstairs at your lobby. He's like, what's your unit number, buzz me in. And I was like, why are you in my house? He's like, oh, I'm just checking in on you. And I hung up on him because I was so creeped out. I called our concierge and I told him to like not let that guy in or give him any information about me, and the concierge was like, yeah, of course. I didn't find out until I got home a couple days later that the concierge actually had to call the cops on this fucking Uber driver. He wouldn't stop insisting to the concierge to let him in because he wanted to see me. And the concierge was like, no, she just called and told us not to let you in, she doesn't know you. I don't know the exact details, but the concierge saying that like tipped him off and he just started to cause a scene in front of everyone at the lobby. I submitted a report to Uber and I never heard from that driver again.